Welcome to PBS Pulse, the Porto Business School podcast that brings expert insights that are shaping the future of business and leaders. So today we're pleased to welcome Laura Desmond, a renowned expert in marketing, media, business communication and transformation, CEO of Smartly, and a board member of Adobe and Double Verify. And of course, this is going to be a thought-provoking conversation about the future of advertising. Laura, welcome to PBS, welcome to the PBS Pulse, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so today we'll dive in AI and creativity. How are they shaping the future of branding and business growth? And of course, we'll like to have your thoughts on that. So I'll kick start with a question. So AI is evolving a lot. We're all listening about AI. It's transforming our day-to-day. Everyone is using ChatGPT and using other AI tools from different providers. So how is it transforming the creative process?
Well, it's transforming it a lot. Smartly, we believe, sits at the intersection of AI and creativity. We're an advertising technology. We combine AI-powered creative with automated media buying. What we do for brands is help them power growth through subscriptions, acquiring new users, and improving their ROAS, return on advertising spend. Our view of AI and creativity is that AI will unleash or maximize creative power. It'll do that by helping creators focus more on the big idea, creative intelligence, understanding how to take the ideas and turn them into personalized, relevant experiences. We also think that it will shift work and save time, where they'll be able to not spend as much time on manual, tedious tasks, but actually move forward at a faster pace the next type of creative campaign that will perform and learn intelligently from what consumers are reacting to on the previous campaign.
So I'll focus on one point that you mentioned, that it will not replace the essence of branding and the essence of the strategy of the brand, but actually be an enabler and help move forward those strategies. So they serve as tools to work with and improve on a day-to-day. Can you share some thoughts and examples of where you see those benefits and tools the best?
Brands play an incredibly important role with consumers. They give consumers information, they meet their needs, they tell them about something new so that people can try and figure out that there's more they can get out of a brand or a product. And at its essence, brands and the advertising that they invest in should help people have a better experience and make their lives a little better. And the way we think of AI in this process is that it enables brands to focus on their essence and spend less time on the actual execution and the manual labor of having to create relevance and create personalization. We know that globally, adults now expect personalized experiences as they're spending time in their news feed or with TikTok or on YouTube. 74% of adults expect personalized, relevant experiences, and that's up 10 points in the last 3 years. So that's the state of play today. But at the same time, the expectation for personal experience needs to come with it attached a sense of invitation. People want brands to know them. People want brands to respect them. And when you combine respect with knowing, brands can actually get consumers to lean forward, engage in a more relevant way than 20 years ago when it was more one mass message. To do that, it takes time. And so creative automation and an end-to-end platform, this is what Smartly software is a real enabler to marketers, to creators, because we give them time back to focus on the big idea, and we do a lot of the automation through machine learning and AI so that they can focus the right way to create some magic. And that's what people expect.
So, building on that, you mentioned that there's seems like a bit of a contradiction. So, knowing a lot for personalization, knowing a lot, but at the same time respecting the individual. How do you to have a balanced career in advertising? This new type of shift that we're seeing, the changes in the industry. How do you believe that professionals that work in this area, what type of what should they do or should consider to be successful to respect those seemingly contradiction?
Look, I think to be a great marketer, you need to combine creativity and curiosity. That has shaped a lot of my career. But I think over time, what's been the power behind my career has been this notion of I enjoy challenge, I enjoy risk taking, and I am driven to find, that cutting edge point where you're part of leaving the old world and you're getting to a new world of what's possible in this industry. So I like being first to figure out where's this marketplace going, where are consumers going, how do you use technology to enable it, what do brands need to do to shift from the old way of working to a new way of working. And in a lot of respect, how do you pick and develop talent when you're a CEO? That's the most important thing in many ways that you do to make sure you build a team that's able to drive a company forward on that cutting edge as well. So I've always liked the challenge of getting to what's next. And I've always enjoyed the team collaboration and aspect of that as well. And I don't know if that's balance, but to be honest with you, I don't think anyone who's successful in business at the highest level is worried about balance. What you hopefully do is you find ways to make room for all the things that are important to you. Your family, what brings you joy, hobbies, activities, as well as the company that you're leading. And if you understand how to find and make space for all of those things, you accept that you might not be able to do them all at the same time, but you find ways to integrate all of that in and feel like you are advancing the case and moving forward.
Thanks for that. So I think that you mentioned the word "what's next," which is one that we're very familiar with. We talk a lot about the future at Porto Business School, and I think that most of our managers, our leaders, see what's next and are envisioning what's next, but they're thinking about how do I get there? How do I make my company relevant? And you mentioned a lot about teams and people and probably culture. What do you think are some of the recommendations and key messages that you have for those CEOs and a lot of our leaders that are here at PBS that should follow, should consider moving forward?
So look, the last 3 years has been a rapid transformation. We're in a very disruptive time. And I think leaders that accept that and companies that understand it's not just a challenge or a risk, but it's an opportunity to change the business model, are by very nature of defining that reality ahead. I think the thing that's been most interesting to me is that in 3 years on AI, we've gone from wow to how to now. And what I see, and I see this today at the business school, is everyone saying, I accept it, now what do I do? So I think one incredibly important skill is be AI first. I actually signed up for an online course over the holidays in introductory machine learning and AI. I take the time to read and spend time talking to people. I'm naturally curious, but I'm not a coder. I'm not an engineer. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to spend an hour a week just learning, which really leads, I think, when you're AI first, one of the things when you're in advertising and marketing you have to think about is how does AI unleash and empower creativity and creative agility? And that's another important skill set. I think engineers today, even who know how to code and are used to working with AI, will realize that it only sets a foundation. And if anything, engineers, marketers, creators now need to bring even more creative agility and creative skill to do the work of the future. I think lastly, it's really important as a skill set to really focus in on critical thinking and collaboration. These are big, important questions of our time. You know, how to responsibly use AI, how to unleash creative power, but keep the principles of being people-centered and human first. These are important questions. If you can't think around these questions as a brand marketer or creator, you will get lost really quickly because it's easy to get lost in the complexity. And you have to collaborate, especially in technology. You know, old school companies at times can win even in silos, departments, functions, more vertically structured companies. Today, especially in technology, everything is connected to everything else. And so if you don't team, if you don't collaborate, if you don't work across functions and be able to communicate what you're trying to get teams to do across every part of the company, you will not succeed and you won't win as fast as you need to in this time of tech disruption.
So I'll wrap up with one final question, building on one thing that you said. The statement of being AI first within the organization, which is a bold statement to say that I want to be AI first. And a lot of times we talk about the skills and capabilities that we need to build in our teams, but being AI first means starting from the top. And that means probably implications for the leaders, for the strategy of the company. And how do you see that movement going? Some examples that you might want to share. And I would imagine that it takes a bit of courage to make that leap.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want, you know, a CEO to do. If a CEO is only focused and has their head down on today or the next 90 days, there is so much out there in the world, external forces, opportunities, challenges, the company will miss it. If the CEO isn't out ahead, the company will miss it. At the same time, a CEO cannot get so far out ahead that their people, their team, their company, what they build, how they go to market falls behind. And so you have to practice this 1-2 combination of moving quickly, being a force multiplier for things that you know must happen, while at the same time have patience to let some things occur more authentically because the team sees it and the team is able to follow it. And that's a combination of things, honestly, I didn't really have 15 years ago. But I've actually been very purposeful about trying to build them now because I do think that combination can help develop teams, grow teams, while at the same time, you know, inspiring a company to get to what's next. And in this case, in this era, this new age of advertising, AI first is what we have to get to next.
Okay. Laura, thanks for that. Would you like to share one final message to our audience regarding any thoughts that you believe that Porto Business School leaders and students should have moving forward?
Well, I think it's an exciting time, and it's great to be pursuing, you know, an executive degree, you know, an MBA in this day and age. What I especially liked hearing about this morning from the dean and the faculty was how you were talking about the fact that your students recognize it's a very disruptive time of learning and change. But at the same time, they want to understand first principles. They want to understand what makes you know, the clear guidelines of being a great marketer or creator or brand manager. And I think that's a nice message that I will take with me, which is as fast as things change, and you do have to be AI ready and tech ready, you also have to know the basics of the role that you want to do. And when you know the basics, then you can combine those things in really interesting ways and be hopefully a successful professional.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
Laura, thanks for sharing your insights with us. It's been a fascinating conversation. I think we could be here for hours. And as you mentioned, at Porto Business School, for us, incorporating AI in our programs, in our day-to-day, in our discussions is something that we consider in our mission to educate leaders. And for us, it's been a privilege to connect with you for the future of advertising, the impact on the marketing as a whole, and get all those insights. So for you at home and thinking us, stay tuned for the next episode of PBS Pulse. And it's a joy to have such an interesting conversation about AI in the future of advertising. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.